name? Matt.
Is that Matthew? Shop Matthew?
Yeah.
Do you live locally, Matt?
Lancashire.
Whereabouts in Lancashire do you live?
Why?
What's your surname, Matthew?
Why? Oh, this is a bit bizarre, this.
Well, it's not bizarre, Matthew. I want to know why you're looking at police vehicles, to be honest. I'm
well,
not happy
because
there's this much interest in the vehicle.
It's just, I don't know, I've just explained what I'm doing.
Right, just stand still, because you're being very edgy and I don't know why.
You're making me edgy. There's 3 years here because I've took a picture of the police van.
I've asked you your name, right?
You're also doing them, aren't you?
Tell me your name, please.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Why? Say?
Why are you still videoing?
Because I'm nervous.
Right, you don't need to be nervous. At the end of the day, you've got interest in the police vehicle, so that must mean you're also interested in the police. So having
no, not at all.
Well,
it's just
looking at the vehicle. Well, that's all we're asking. You've done nothing wrong. There's nothing to be worried about, is there?
Instead of calmly observing, they immediately press the auditor for his name and his reason for filming, despite admitting moments later that he's done nothing wrong. Filming from a public space, especially something as mundane as a police van, is perfectly lawful. Yet, the officers treat it as suspicious, demanding explanations without legal grounds. Their questions aren't investigative. They're fishing for justification after the fact, and the line, "You've done nothing wrong," completely undermines their approach. If no crime has been committed, there should be no reason to pressure him. The fact that they still pursue the auditor shows a lack of accountability and a complete misunderstanding or disregard of the public's rights.
I've told you I'm just putting them on to upload to Flickr.
Because it's not just a picture from afar. You've spent specific time looking around the vehicle at the front and specifically in the cab of the vehicle, and that to me...
I've only got a few pictures, I'm just getting the right ones, I'm not...
videos of the whole thing, I've been watching you after I've come downstairs.
Yeah, it's just a video, and there's YouTube as well.
But why?
Why not? There's no reason why not, is there?
Why specific interest in that vehicle?
It's not just that one, I just said I'm going to go and get the others, all the other marked vehicles and pictures and stuff.
Okay, but to us, do you see why that might be of a concern? That someone's taking a specific note about vehicles and police transportation? I'll be honest with you, Matthew, I'm concerned about your actions and your behaviour. Because you're very, like I say, you're very sort of defensive and very sort of...
I've got 3 police people stood here. 1, 2, 3. That's why I'm nervous.
The officer's claim that the auditor is being too defensive falls flat the moment you consider the setting. He's not being defensive for no reason. He's reacting to the pressure of being boxed in by authority figures trying to assert dominance over a lawful activity. When 3 uniformed officers step out and surround a lone civilian, the power imbalance is massive. To then criticize the auditor's composed verbal response as defensive is a textbook example of gaslighting. They're using their presence to provoke a reaction, then attempting to frame that reaction as justification for further action. Instead of de-escalating or questioning with neutrality, they corner someone, heighten the tension, and then blame the individual for feeling cornered. It's not just bad policing. It's manipulative and deeply unprofessional.
Yeah. It's just a conversation.
Right, well, yeah, so like I say, just pictures for Flickr.
Right, so can you give the colleague your details then? So it takes you at the end of the day, doesn't it? Because if anything ever does come of it, or we've got any concerns, we can say...
Nothing's going to come of it. I'm not doing that. I'm just taking some
pictures. But you also need to understand that people don't always tell the police the truth. Yeah? Especially if they have something to hide or something they don't want to know about. So if that's not the case, then by all means help us to help you rectify that. Yeah? So if you're saying you've done nothing wrong, and I'm not saying that you have, I'm just asking you the questions of what you're actually doing. If you've done nothing wrong and you've got nothing to hide, and there'll be no reason why you aren't happy to pass your details to my colleagues so we can make sure who you are. Yeah?
The officer's statement essentially, if you got nothing to hide, you should be happy to give your details, flips the burden of proof onto the citizen, which goes against the very foundation of British law. In the UK, individuals are not required to prove their innocence or hand over personal details without reasonable suspicion of a crime. What's especially problematic here is the manipulative tone. It's a guilt-tripping tactic disguised as reasonable inquiry. Just because someone doesn't want to give their personal information doesn't mean they've done something wrong. It means they're exercising a right. Refusing to hand over details is not a red flag. It's a legal entitlement in public spaces. By pushing this narrative, the officer reveals a worrying misunderstanding or willful disregard of the law.
That makes sense, doesn't it? That's a rational request. That's not about being scared of police or anything like
Yeah,
that.
but I know, but I just don't want my details putting in the system. There's
It's not about
no one.
this is us making a note so we know who you are. We need to know who people are on a daily basis, don't we?
Yeah, but I don't want to be on the system though as a
You're not going to go...
whatever.
It's just, you're just a person. You keep your details every single day of the week. That's our job.
Yeah, if they're like under suspicion of up to no good.
It's not about that. You need to understand that it's always playing the reasons why we're asking these questions. Yeah? And you're not really giving us an answer.
I have done. I'll give you an answer straight away.
We've got the details so we can verify it all. That's all we're asking.
I've told you what I'm doing though.
Right, but I'm not happy with what you're saying, Matthew.
Great.
I'll be honest.
So I have to give them the details then.
I'm asking you politely to give them colleague details, yeah?
The auditor clearly stated he was taking a photo of the police van for his Flickr account, an entirely legal and harmless activity. Yet, the officer brushes that off, claiming it's not a proper answer, and insists on demanding his personal details. Her reasoning: she's not happy with his explanation, but police powers aren't based on feelings or satisfaction. They're bound by law. The auditor gave a reasonable answer, and the officer's discomfort or disapproval doesn't magically create suspicion. What's truly concerning is how quickly that personal dissatisfaction escalated into a demand for ID. This is another example of ego-driven policing, where an officer's pride takes precedence over professionalism. It's policing by preference, not by principle, and it deserves to be called out.
Oh, I have to.
You need to.
Right, I tell you what, we'll search you under section 43. Of the
Section 43, the most abused,
Counter-terrorism Act.
the most abused section there is.
Section 43 of the
You
Counter-Terrorism
do know that's an unlawful. I'm not going anywhere. You do know that's an unlawful arrest.
Act. It's not an arrest.
It's an unlawful arrest.
I'm not arresting
It's
you.
an unlawful
I said
detainment.
detained for the purpose
It's an
of
unlawful
search.
detainment.
Terrorism Act. Okay.
And you will learn that this is not a crime.
Okay.
This is not a crime. So you're officially detaining me.
Auditor calmly asks a simple and lawful question. Do I have to provide my details? And without any further discussion, the officer leaps straight to detention under anti-terror powers. There's no reasonable suspicion presented, no threat, no hostile behavior, just a peaceful auditor. Section 43 is meant to be used when an officer reasonably suspects a person is involved in terrorism. Yet time and again it's misused to force ID from people simply exercising their rights. According to data published by the Home Office in the year ending March 2023, there were around 66 stop and searches under Section 43 across England and Wales, with only 29 arrests for terrorism-related offenses. That's less than 3% leading to terror charges. A clear indicator of how often this power is used without solid grounds.
Right, could I just get your collar number and your name?
Search.
It's on his collar there, 1639, 2408.
And your names?
90.
No, you don't have my name. Not under counter-terrorism.
I don't think so. I'll be investigating this if you do not tell me your name.
Counter-terrorism, you only need a collar number.
Collar number. I'm not a terrorist though. I'm taking pictures of the police
search
vehicles.
is under terrorism legislation.
Grounds for the search, you've all explained, okay? Your furtive nature.
So your PC 1639 and your name is please.
Nope.
You need to state your name.
No, don't.
You do need to state your name.
It's not an argument, we don't need
Right.
to, and you're not getting it. You're 1639.
So you're all going to back him up
2190.
when he's in the wrong.
Under Pace Code A and standard policing practice, even when operating under Section 43 of the Terrorism Act 2000, an officer is still expected to identify themselves properly, including name and badge collar number, station, and the grounds of search. In fact, Code H of Pace, which deals with terrorism-related detentions and procedures, doesn't override the expectation for transparency during stop and search. While an officer might not be required to give a full name in extreme or covert operations, in standard public engagements or like this, the caller number and name should be offered without resistance, especially if the person being searched requests it.
Is there a sergeant about, please?
Nope.
Right, I am requesting a sergeant because this is unlawful.
Stand up.
This is unlawful. I'll turn it off. I will turn it off. Let me turn it off.
What are you doing again now?
I know, I'm allowed
If you're going to
to.
be doing that, you've got to expect that we are going to ask questions as to why you didn't. So we need to keep the public
Yeah, I
safe.
understand that. You've got to ask
Our
questions
main
as to why
thing
I'm
is
doing
keep
it.
them safe. That's what we do. We serve the public and we keep them safe.
What's your
Okay,
current address, Matthew?
You can pause that now. You're going to give that, aren't you?
Quite happy.
All right, well, I'd rather not give that then.
Right, okay. That should be keys, isn't it?
So I can ask you, Matthew, to not to do this anymore?
I'm allowed to do it. You've searched me. You've unlawfully searched me. It has been well, we'll find out about that.
Video, you've been nice as pie and understanding. As soon as you're back on your video, you're starting to be...
Because I was detained. Because I was detained.
No.
I'm not shouting, I'm not swearing, I'm just arguing my case, that's all I'm doing.
Once the search under Section 43 has been conducted and nothing suspicious or illegal has been found, which was always going to be the case, the legal justification for interfering with the auditor's activity no longer exists. Yet instead of accepting that they were wrong, one officer still says, "Can I ask you not to do this anymore?" Most a clear attempt to control again. The auditor is absolutely right to respond. "I can do it, and you've searched me." He stood his ground on a principle. Being searched doesn't invalidate your rights, and it certainly doesn't give officers the authority to decide what legal things you're allowed to do afterward. The officers had their chance to investigate. They did. They found nothing. At that point, the conversation should have ended with an apology, not a veiled warning.
I'm being cheeky, but all I'm doing is arguing the case. I don't mean to come across as cheeky, but...
You're an editor's view, aren't you? Because it's not
No, I will start it from the very start till when you arrested me or detained me.
You're going to publicise Matthew. All I'm saying is, the reason why we stopped him spoken today is an issue of public safety. So that's all it needs.
Right, well, I will state it's unlawful, and I think you'll find out very soon that it was. All three of you have acted unlawful, and I'm going to continue to film all the vehicles. Am I allowed to do that, or is that against the law? Is it against the law to do that? No, it's not, is it?
As the officers finally walk away, their posture says it all. They've got nothing left. After detaining, searching, and pressuring order to Matt, they come up empty-handed and have no legal leg to stand on. What began with a camera and a calm hobbyist ended with a police retreat, and rightfully so. This entire episode reveals a worrying trend. Officers escalating situations based on ego, discomfort, and misunderstanding of the law. Matt was doing something completely lawful. Taking a photo of a police van for his Flickr account in a public space. That's not suspicious. That's not threatening. But rather than engage with patients or ask basic questions, 3 officers came storming out as if they'd intercepted a national threat. One demanded ID. Another questioned his motive, and a third even admitted he hadn't done anything wrong. All within minutes. And when Matt calmly explained himself, that wasn't enough. And another tried using the old, if you've got nothing to hide line, completely ignoring the principle that rights don't depend on whether an officer is happy with your answers. In the end, it was Matt's composure and knowledge that exposed just how flimsy their justification really was. They searched him, found nothing, and still tried to get him to leave. But he stood his ground and walked away with his rights intact. And their poor policing laid bare on camera. This wasn't just a failed stop. It was a clear abuse of power, a lack of understanding of the law, and a display of how fragile authority becomes when challenged by someone who knows their rights. Matt didn't just school them. He held the line for everyone watching. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me continue with my independent coverage. His channel is linked in the description. Show him some love. Thanks for watching. See you in the next.